Well, it's the Security Weekly News. Welcome to the week of 6 April 2025. I'm Doug White. We've got DOS lives, Webcam's gone wild, VSCODE gone wild, Coinblack, Oracle, Procter & Gamble gone wild, Satan, Gemini, Shopify, Josh Marpet, and more on the Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News. Imagine a world where every threat, ransomware, supply chain attacks, zero-day exploits, is stopped before it can even begin. ThreatLocker makes that world a reality with a zero-trust approach to cybersecurity. By giving you granular control on every executable that can happen in your environment, ThreatLocker protects your business around the clock. No more guessing, no more gaps, just rock-solid protection that keeps your operations running smoothly and your data secure. Discover how ThreatLocker's least privilege approach can safeguard your organization against known and unknown threats. Take the first step toward total peace of mind. Visit securityweekly.com/ThreatLocker today. All right, I'm Doug White, and it's the Security Weekly News. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment, or I will never be able to afford to continue my research into cat snake chimeras. And right now, I got a whole basement full of cats and snakes. They're going nowhere fast, and although a couple of them might have escaped into the forest, so, I'm not sure. I think we've all used VS Code for something. I mean, I hate myself, but you want to open that CSV file and it's just sitting there looking all saucy. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, it's a handy tool for coding PowerShell and it's free. So, as with everything else, there are extensions that you can add to your programming polycule. I mean, you're there with VS Code, but there's all these other sexy options just asking for it. And hey, big boy, I bet you'd really like to see how highlighted keywords are in your script. And the next thing you know, you have every extension on Earth installed, and then you get an infection. There are currently, as of the article being written yesterday, there's 9 VS Code extensions that were listed in this article that appear to be legitimate development tools, but they're not. And what they actually do is infect you with XM rig crypto miners. Yeah, I mean, I know we're all like, yeah, we've all seen that before. Extensions total found that these 9 extensions on the portal at the 4th of March, and apparently notified Microsoft, but they're still there. The 9 tools have over 300,000 installs since the 4th of April. But there was a sort of comment on this that, I had thought of myself, like maybe some of these installs are fake, like all those 5-star reviews of Dr. McKee's guaranteed hair growth pills. There's probably a bunch of bots or a warehouse full of workers clicking yes a lot and downloading these things over and over and over again on virtual machines just to show that, to get the download count up. So 7 of 9. Ooh, Jerry Ryan. A next generation pun. 7 of the 9 extensions. You can see what's on. Yeah. I don't think I've ever done a next generation pun. Anyway, 7 of the 9 extensions were published by the user Mark H. But the point is, you really have to take a lot of care when you start adding extensions to anything these days, whether it's your browser, it's your coding environment, or anything at all. My personal approach to this is and we've all been there, right? You want something, you want NumPy, and you get ready to install NumPy, and then you go, should I install NumPy? NumPy's fine, but is this NumPy or is it NumPy or something else? But maybe sandbox it first and evaluate if it is what it appears to be and what it may do. I would just be very, very careful with extensions. It's easy to do this. More people do it all the time. It's really hard to determine, and you can't count on the number of installs as being an indicator that it's legit. I'm just telling you. All these were still available as of yesterday, according to the article. They have been reported to Microsoft. They're still there. Okay. Now, look, when Brad Pitt tells me to invest, I invest. Tyler Durden comes on and says, buy this crypto coin. I'm there. Take cash out the kids' college fund, the whole thing. I mean, celebrities always make good decisions, right? So I should do what they tell me. Well, forever there's been the Spanish lottery scam. So I don't know if Spain was like one of the originators of a lot of scams or not, but this one was Spanish police arrested 6 individuals behind a large-scale crypto investment scam, which was using AI tools that were generating deepfake ads with popular public figures. I guess in Spain, they didn't mention any names, so I figure we wouldn't know who they are unless you're from Spain, in which case you might. The police called this operation Coinblack Wind Mine, which sounds like a really bad magic act in Atlantic City that's playing all week or something, like it's on the marquee. But it was apparently a 2-year investigation after one of the victims of this scam filed a complaint. They ended up arresting 6 individuals, and at the point where they started arresting people, the scam had defrauded around 19 million euros from 208 victims worldwide. Now, the way this scam worked, it's very elaborate. The victims were first targeted by their profiles and were targeted with the usual thirst trap for I know thirst traps. I use thirst trap for this. Get rich quick, make 5,000% returns, guaranteed. And people click it. And, basically then after that, they were contacted by these investment counselors, and then they produced AI deepfake ads, apparently, that looked independent of this person you were talking to, that was telling you what a great deal this was and how you're going to be so rich you won't even be able to understand it. You'll be rich enough to do whatever you want. You can play golf all weekend. You can do, whatever you want to do. And then they had these fake platforms showing your returns. So you've invested now. You took your life savings, which in my case would be $57.36 and some old Subway tokens. And now it's showing that you just earned 18, 20, 50, 5,000. Who knows? Because it's all fake, right? So I want it to look real, but not too crazy. But, so I say, you get a 21% return yesterday. And then the attackers contact you and they say, we've got a problem. They try to build a relationship with you. Some of them were actually doing romantic stuff. Some of them were doing, financial stuff, and they reach out all the time. And then they suddenly contact you and say, hey, it's Ted, your trusted advisor. I got some bad news. Unfortunately, your money's been blocked. And we're going to have to find a way to unblock it. And it's going to involve an attorney. It's going to involve you giving me more money and blah, blah, blah. And so then the person, says, oh my God, I want my returns. And they say, yeah, it's the Spanish government rigging it or whatever. And so basically then I say, okay, well, here's the 5,000 euros you need to unlock my money. And then they, do something. Other than it doesn't stop there. Then the same bad guys posing as Europol agents or British lawyers were claiming that we have now recovered your funds, my friend. You're going to be so happy, that money you just invested. But unfortunately, there is going to be a tax that has to be paid. And then the people gave them more money. So, look, I mean, this stuff is scary to me because it can translate into exploitation or extortion of your employees. Once you get people on the hook and I'm going, you could get your money back, but I'm going to need you to do me a little favor. Maybe install this product in your company's network and I can release all your funds. And I mean, on and on and on. So please keep telling them about scams and try and get them not to fall for this stuff. I mean, we all want to get rich in crypto or organ harvesting or whatever it is you want to do, but most of this stuff is scams. I mean, just because Vincent Price tells me he would invest in Canadian organ harvesting ventures, am I going to just jump right in there and buy a kidney for resale? I don't know. I might, because it's Vincent Price, and I mean, he's a famous horror actor. He probably knows something about organ harvesting. Be careful who you hand your money to and what you get yourself involved in. Well, remember when Oracle said, no, we had no breach. There was never a breach. We have always been unbreached, and unbreached we shall remain. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island to the last man. Wait, they didn't say all of that. Some of it might have been Winston Churchill, but I mean, they did say some of it. They denied. And now they've entered the phase of, well, maybe a little. I mean, maybe a little. I mean, we didn't, but maybe just a little bit around the edges or something like that. I mean, and we now seem to be moving into the what me worry stage. It's now been revealed, dun, 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 that privately, not publicly, they've refused to say anything public. Privately, Oracle is telling customers that here's a little bit. A legacy Oracle environment was compromised, but it was only old data. It was only old data. But they're apparently being sued in Texas, and one of the customers said the data was as recent as 2024. Now, Bloomberg said that they had seen multiple customers who shared that Oracle issued notifications of a data breach that exposed customer usernames, passkeys, and encrypted passwords, despite denying that the breach occurred. Now, this could mean, and this is, of course, corporate legal speaking, it's a third-party system. It's a legacy system. It's a Volkswagen that was parked in the parking lot or something that was breached. That means that Oracle itself was never actually breached. But the story continues to evolve through the 7 stages of breach grief. Deny, blame the dog, admit guilt, but blame the victims, laugh it off and call yourself puckish, and then just run from the room screaming, see you in hell. At least that's what I did at my brother's wedding. But anyway, time will out, as they say. We have always been at war with East Asia. Ooh, office hijinks. Oh, remember that time Graham and Fabio went into the unused office for a performance review? Yeah, neither do I. We were all told we never saw that. It never happened. Please deny it at all costs. Now, when I worked in a cube farm style arrangement, a portable camera was roughly the size of a cinder block or a breeze block if you're British. And so it was pretty obvious if somebody was filming you, right? I mean, when the film crew was wandering through the building, you're like, what are those guys doing? But now any device could have a camera, right? Including said devices like, say, phones, toys, you name it. That little toy that you have sitting on your desk that's, connected to the Wi-Fi, it might have cameras for eyes, which is why I always have a mallet handy. Those metal meat hammers work really well. But, anyway, a pharmacist who is now listed as a former pharmacist in Maryland is being accused of compromising company computers and cameras to spy on their colleagues. I will say the guards at the bank I worked in used to have a gag reel of people doing things in the parking lot, which including hitting things like the wall, puking, falling out of their car with like a bunch of cans and bottles, staggering around the parking lot, having sex with a local TV anchorman. That never happened. It maybe happened. It wasn't me though. And all the usual parking lot stuff. But the pharmacist, this one, infected company PCs with malware. And then that malware was logging people's passwords and then used those passwords to get access to their home networks as well to see what all they could find. The malware was also allowing the observation of the day-to-day antics and hijinks of doctors and residents, a la Grey's Anatomy sort of thing. Only I think it was racier than that. That's on network television. But the malware activated the webcams on people's laptops and desktops and so forth, and it disabled the indicator light so people didn't know they were being filmed. Webcams gone wild! Footage was captured of various canoodling and so forth. And of course, people's privacy was violated and all these kind of things. So don't do this. Okay. You really want to be that guy? Really? I mean, offices have had these kind of people before, and you don't want to be, you don't want to be Dr. Granger that, they warn you about when you first come in the building. Don't get in the elevator with Dr. Granger. Those people. But B, review your policies about this kind of thing and ensure you make it clear that it shouldn't be happening. And if it does happen, you are so fired. But could you send me that video you had of the, but I mean, make sure there's clear guidance on this and, and maybe make sure systems have alerts and things if, cameras are being turned on and whatnot. Just saying. Well, we are in the age of weirdness in all directions, right? I mean, we got a trade war, we got tariffs. Wait till somebody writes an article that says if you had an infinite tariff, it would effectively generate infinite revenue. Right? I mean, in your little math equation, so an infinite tariff times infinite dollars would generate infinite income. Oh yeah, we shouldn't go there. Probably shouldn't even say that out loud, right? Well, this weirdness was about Procter & Gamble. And Procter and Gamble is one of those really old, really large companies that you always imagine having Sir John Gielgud at the helm. Like, oh, I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. These Pringles aren't going to sell themselves. And maybe the script's written by David Mamet. Yeah, that kind of thing. But they've been telling organizations to rethink how they're run to take advantage of artificial intelligence, which sounds really, modern for Procter and Gamble. I mean, I guess that's reasonable. So Procter and Gamble commissioned a study of 776 professionals, and they put the money out at academic institutions like Harvard and places like that. And they assigned these professionals who were participating to do real world product innovation challenges relevant to their job with and without AI. I mean, it seemed I read the study, and it actually sounded like a pretty reasonable academic study. And what they found, the article has a lot more detail, but what they found was that working with an AI helper was emotionally satisfying. Okay, but I agreed. I mean, I love talking to ChatGPT. Some of the studies showed that interacting with AI models could reduce loneliness and all this kind of stuff. But past studies, so remember, a study's only as good as the sample. So the sample reflects a population, but you don't necessarily know what the population is, which is a violation of the rules of statistics. Other past studies, there was one from 2021, found that when humans believed one of their team members was an AI, they tended to underperform. There was all this stuff about distrust, and I don't know, they were worried the AI was a snitch or something like that. But what P&G basically said was this was a game changer for product innovation, which maybe, I kind of agree. I don't know that, I think it might be for people that know how to deal with it properly. But it is handy to get a second opinion on something like, should I mix this blue chemical and red chemical together and then inject the orange solution? Or should I try them one at a time? Which is most likely to result in a superpower mutation? Come on, ChatGPT, help me out here. Ooh, what I made me think about? I saw Procter and Gamble. Remember when P&G was involved in that giant satanic panic conspiracy? You probably don't because you weren't born. You got to love the 80s. Everything was some kind of satanic panic. I'll get you a satanic mechanic. Mm-hmm. Dead rat on the subway tracks? Got to be Satanists. I know some Satanists, and they don't do stuff like that. But it's really a really good wacky conspiracy. So their logo back then was like this little circle that was on every can of soup, every can of chips or whatever. And it was like the man and the moon, like a crescent moon. And there were 13 stars. And it looked like a logo from the 19th century. Like Sir John Gielgud is going, get us a logo, boys. But people said, so there's all this crazy stuff, and I love wacky conspiracy. People said that if you looked at it carefully and squinted your eyes enough, the stars spelled out the number 666. And they literally went nuts with this. And there were states, some of the southern states were going crazy trying to ban Procter and Gamble products because it was satanic and all this stuff. But then later, Procter and Gamble sued the Amway Corporation, which is, if you don't know what Amway is, it's a multi-level marketing company. And they said that Amway had started this rumor, and they won. In 2007, they actually won and settled for millions of dollars with Amway. Now, Procter and Gamble retired that logo back in 1985 because, and is 666 even the right number? There's a papyrus called Papyrus 115, and it uses Greek numerals. And in that case, it represents 616 as the number of the beast. Yeah. Oh, the 80s. Hairdos, Satanism, the band Kid Gloves. I said that for you, Joe. Satanic panics over a thing, everything from candy bars to absinthe. What a time to be alive. Sorry, I went a little long on that. Google is rolling out an experimental AI model that is designed to support incident response and threat analytics with information from Mandiant Threat Intel and others. The model is called Gemini V1, and it uses the Gemini large language model, which Google developed, with real-time security data and tooling, which is integrated with Google Threat Intelligence, open source vulnerability database, and others like Mandiant Threat Intel. I really like this idea. This sounds like a perfect use for AI to me. It's like it can pursue all these different avenues. So, it might be time to get behind things like this. There's an awful lot of information to process every day, and a lot more is getting added every minute. So, if an LLM could be parsing all this constantly and it could really, develop summaries, relevant updates instead of you just trying to parse all this stuff yourself. In some of the examples they provided, Gemini V1 was able to identify accurately Salt Typhoon as an attacker and provide detailed information about this current attack, which included vulnerabilities that might be problematic and risk profiles. So, a specialist. It might really be interesting to have it summarize all that stuff every day and then examine that in terms of your localized risk profile. Google said Gemini V1 will be made freely available to select researchers, professionals, institutions, and NGOs for testing and feedback. So if you're interested in this, you may want to contact them or reach out and see how you can get access to it. I couldn't resist this story. An update has been provided for, wait for it, FreeDOS. Yay. FreeDOS 1.4 is now out, and it has fixes and features added, so you can still run that old 286 gateway you found in Lou's crawl space. It was covered in cat hair and cigarette smoke. It hasn't been updated, in a long time. Well, FreeDOS had not been updated since 2022, but Jim Hall, who developed it, released it with updated versions of FDisk, Format, Edline, all your old favorites. It's the classics. Speaking of the 80s, really, they do make versions of a lot of old software and operating systems now that you can play with in both real, emulated, and virtual environments. You want to run MVS as a virtual machine? You probably can. You can get it. I see people running RSX 11. I saw that they were running on an emulator for like Deck 10s and all this stuff. Anyway, it's fun if you want to play Zork in its original form with all the fun that goes along with it, with a little tiny PC speaker going. Anyway, I think my point here about this and why I put this article up really was you should think about what you're allowing in your enterprise networks and where you're allowing it. If somebody's running FreeDOS on that old gateway down in the lab, it might be fun and good luck connecting that to a network anyway, because they didn't have drivers for any of that stuff. And so, or RSX 11. I'm going to connect I expect to see this from some of you. RSX 11 now has Wi-Fi enablement and a TCP/IP stack. But if you're running these things in virtual machines on systems, you might want to ensure you understand what could be at risk if they are exposed or compromisable in some way. I don't know that they are, and I think it's just good, clean fun, but you might want to think about it. If nothing can connect to it, then nothing can connect to it. But it's probably not much of a threat. But probably somebody's running Windows NT 4.0 right now for fun. Just trying to see if they can get it running and run something on it. Maybe they're running it right now down in the 4th floor. Yeah, maybe it's oozing out into your network as we talk. Could be. Well, I know he's still running PC DOS on a 386 SX machine with a monochrome monitor so he can play the Oregon Trail the way it was meant to be played. Josh Marpet. Hi, Josh.
Hey, I have Oregon Trail on my phone. I don't have it on a computer anymore. Dear God.
But if you're running an emulated version, it's not the same thing as running it on, PC DOS.
You're right. You're right. It's not the same thing. But as far back as I'm willing to go, as I'm helping Paul Asadorian with his desktop Linux, I'm building one of my old desktops into a Manjaro box later today.
Wow, that's cool.
Well, I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try.
Yeah, hey, why not? It's all fun.
It's all fun and games until somebody loses a driver. What are you going to do?
Now run Doom on RSX 11 and we'll talk.
No.
That's probably been done.
I'd rather run Doom on a. Never mind. Anyway,
on a chainsaw,
on a Texan butt plug. They outlawed them, by the way. But anyway, it's Texas.
Okay.
So I have a great thing that feeds into your AI. We've had all these problems with tariffs and all the infrastructure that AI requires. How are you going to get GPUs from NVIDIA if there's a 50 or 70% tariff on the damn things? Might be difficult to build more AI, but you know what? They've decided that something critical for AI is an absolute energy producer, which is, of course, coal. because coal is the wave of the future for AI.
Okay, I have to interrupt. I want a coal-fired video card where you have to shovel coal into it and it like literally starts, you got to get under there with a match and light it. And yeah, and it's like running in my machine. I got a big chimney with black smoke pouring out of it to go outside. And it's like, progress. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No. It's like, actually, I was howling with laughter because all I could think of is steampunk GPUs, and exactly like you went to. And I'm like, wait. Coal. They're actually going to expand mining in federal parks and forests and land. They're going to expand mining across the entire U.S. for coal. They're going to designate coal as a critical defense mineral. Okay. But then they're going to raise the tariffs on the Chinese rare earths that we need to actually build the chips. So, you takes your picks, you takes your chances, right?
Okay, I'm sorry. A Tesla Cybertruck that runs on coal, that generates steam, that then creates electricity and weighs like 8,000 pounds and comes trundling down the street, and they have to have it because it's clean.
Yeah. Clean coal. Right. Okay. So, I saw this. I was like, I have to talk about this because we need more coal to in his quest to dominate AI. That's literally what it's called. They have now, by the way, and I know you will get such a kick out of this, Mr. Doug. Wait, let me find it. This is the best. They have the new National Energy Dominance Council. I'm not joking. That's the name of the group, the National Energy Dominance Council. It's awesome. They're going to designate coal as a critical mineral and authorizing the use of emergency powers and funding to boost domestic production and processing of critical minerals and rare earths so they can export the coal and sell it to help the trade deficit. I don't necessarily understand where they came from unless they specifically unearthed. Look, I actually kind of get it. Because they went after the COBOL and the mainframes, they lost all access to records. They're going back to paper, but the only paper records they could have were in that mine down underneath where they keep all the retirement papers. So they're getting the records from the 1940s where coal was actually very important. Look, if you garbage in, garbage out, they're getting bad information. Well, it's not bad. It was just outdated information from the 40s out of that mine. And so they're acting on that. I get it. It makes sense. But realistically, I get that coal is an energy producing mineral. Hell, I have a coal stove in my office and I occasionally burn coal. I live in Pennsylvania. We mine coal here. It's actually local for me. Okay. But this whole concept of coal is a critical mineral and a critical energy for AI. I'm just going to say that while I get that it is a energy generation plant or energy generation process, it is not necessarily a critical aspect of AI, and we would probably be better suited in doing better with renewable energy, which doesn't require finite amounts of resources. Yes, we've got a lot of coal in the dirt. That's great. But I think that they perhaps are not doing this correctly. That's just my suspicion here. What I'm going to say is that AI is incredibly important. I think we can all agree on that. You've had, 3 stories today on that? 2 or 3, I forget.
And one more.
And it's incredibly important. By the way, Google with their AI Sec Gemini or whatever they're calling it, I've been working with that forever now. It's amazing. It collates data beautifully. It makes your SOC analyst's life amazing. AI is important. Coal? I think we'd be better suited reducing the tariffs on GPUs so we could build the damn things rather than worry so much about powering them. That's just my take on this. But I really think that we have better priorities than coal.
Not if you're in the Coal Council.
I get it. Or the National Energy Dominance Council. Dominance.
Yeah, I want to be a part of something called dominance. I think like the National Host Dominance Council. Yeah. I think it's. Oh, yeah. Not going there either.
We did talk about the Texas butt plugs, right? They now restrict that. That was another story that I thought was funny. But I'm not going to get into why they're restricting the sale of any marital aids in Texas, because
Oh yeah, there was something
to,
about how many dildos is too many dildos, and they had to have this whole debate in the legislature about like 3 is not is okay, 4 is too many, you go to jail.
No, it was 6. 6 is too many.
6. Okay, I didn't
Above
remember
6,
the
you go to
exact
jail.
numbers, but because my giant dildo collection is like so vast that I have to have a whole warehouse for it. But regardless,
You hang out with us.
Coal-fired.
The coal. Wait. Oh, the coal-powered Cybertruck dildo factory.
There you go. Just wait, it's gonna be a golden age, boys. They'll be burning coal like it's 1850. I'm buying stock in whale oil because I think that's going to make a comeback. I mean, you think coal's good? Wait till you get into whale oil. You just don't get that good, greasy, smoky feeling like you could when you were burning whale oil lamps and powering your GPUs with it. Yeah.
It's a bit weird. And I saw that story and I'm like, it's not the most technical story, but it's so freaking weird. I had to talk about it. So
I've never done those. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I agree. It's weird and it's just hard to believe, but hey, it's the modern age. Who knows what's going to happen next?
Welcome to this timeline.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh. And speaking of AI, Shopify, where you could build a cloud platform to sell those Labubus you bought just before the tariffs went to infinity and beyond on Hong Kong, in Hong Kong. And now the Labubus cost infinity. I didn't know what a Labubu was, but I asked ChatGPT and it showed me a picture of one. And I was like, yeah, I can see why people would pay any price for that. Shopify. Well, the CEO of Shopify said that they will not allow any new hires unless a manager can first prove that AI is not capable of doing the job. I'm not sure how you do that exactly. It's hard to not prove something. It's like, so I guess they didn't have any details. Like you ask an AI, can you take these Labubus and put them into these boxes? And the AI goes, I don't think so, man. I don't have any arms. And they go, okay, well, we can hire a Labubu packer. Anyway, I just like saying Labubu. But teams are now being required as Shopify to integrate AI into their workflows. And the memo went on to say that doing this and integrating AI into your workflows, whatever that means exactly, but it will be expected of all employees going forward. Procter & Gamble will be happy to hear that. But the memo also said that employees would be questioned on their AI usage in their performance reviews. Did you use AI today, Bob? Yeah, a little. You're going to use it more. You're not using it enough. Get the AI in there. Like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I think this is coming, though. I mean, I really do. AIs will be in the break room getting their HR training soon. AIs will be eating your lunch out of the shared fridge. I always brought an expired sushi just for fun. But, AIs are going to be designing, and scanning for your competition for possible satanic references and suggesting ways that you could exploit that, signing up for the company softball team. I mean, it is a brave new AI world. And I mean, I think we're all going to have to get used to it regardless in our jobs and everything else. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords. And I always say please and thank you when talking to ChatGPT. And I do. I mean, it's just like a thing. Like, thanks, ChatGPT. You're my only hope. Try saying that to it sometime. It's just quite fun. Anyway, that's the news. Thank you, Josh. And I hope that I will see you again next time on the Security Weekly News.